centered. And what I want to do is align to a key object, which is this guy right here. This is my actual page itself. And then we're going to center everything up, make sure it's all good, which it is. Then I'm going to get my rulers going on. I'm going to draw a ruler going on here, and a ruler on the other side. Whoa, come back here. This is what happens when you start doing stuff too fast. Why do I draw rulers? Because I want visual guides to make sure everything is going to line up and stuff, and has visual is queued up. So I'm going to take this, move that over there, so now you've got a nice visual proximity, lines flowing down and everything's lining up. This can go over here. The logo itself, and it depends, that's really, usually it's kind of down here. It all depends on how you want it to look in the end. That's kind of basically it. I'm actually going to have to darken all this imagery here, and I think I'm going to take this stuff and move this right over like so, just so it's more snug, optically centered underneath everything else. It's tricky when you're lining stuff up, because you can line everything up with rulers and guides and make sure it all lines up that way, but when you look at it, sometimes it still doesn't look balanced. So then you actually have to go and optically line everything up. It doesn't really line up with anything else, but visually everything just flows better. So sometimes you got to kind of mess with things and make them work to your advantage. I'm going to pop this up a bit like so. Samsung's down the corner. Never put anything right down to the very edge. That can get really ugly. Better start reading that book, eh? Anyway, you got to be careful with that stuff. If you throw stuff down too close, you're getting some visual tension, and it draws your eye right to that very edge of the page, and you don't get any, your eye sticks there, and you don't get any focus going on in this stuff over here. So, and then now what I'm going to do, actually, save this thing. I'm going to make a new layer, and this is going to be called kind of like my, I'll call these, wavy lines or something like that. This is kind of messed. What I'm going to do is make some of these visual wavy lines that are inside here. So this stuff here, done in Illustrator and then brought into Photoshop, and it's really quick and dead simple. So I'm actually going to get the stroke going on with my, I'm going to get the pen tool, and every time I do this is different, so we're just going to try something here. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to take a line here, and maybe a line there, and maybe a line there, and maybe a line there. Okay, it's one line. Then I'm going to take a line over here and over there and over there and over here. Now these two lines I'm going to use the blend tool and blend them together. It's kind of like a tweener kind of thing. So I'm going to go in here and I got to find a path or a point. Usually it helps if you select them both. And I got to lock everything else down so I don't click on something that I don't want. And I'm going to click once over here, and I'm just going to click maybe once to there. Now you see what happens, it just gives me one stroke in between. If I double click on this stuff, I get my options, and I'm going to go to specified steps or distance. I can go to specified steps. I can go to specified distance. 0.06 of an inch is going to give me lots. That's what you get. So depending on how much of the stuff you want, I would leave some space in between the lines, because if you get it too tight, then it just looks like, crazy stuff. It's just a big solid pink junk. The nice thing about this is that right now, if I go to my preview mode, so you just see two lines, or my outline mode. We have to expand this. Right now Illustrator is doing all the work. It's not actual. If I was to copy and paste it, all I would get would be these two lines. So I actually have to expand the stuff out. So I'm going to see, this in the end. But this is editable right now, so I can click on a point and I can pull it up, and it's going to give me different shapes. I can move this over here. Totally different shapes. So just so you're aware, this kind of effect is really nice to communicate, sound, waves, so something that's intangible and that's really hard to describe. It's a visual presence, dreams, I don't know, all kinds of weird and wacky stuff. So, and you can duplicate these guys and do whatever you want. I mean, you can change, for example, this stroke can be a different color and it's going to blend it in together. So say I want like green. There you go. Pretty trippy, eh? So anyway, it's a cool effect. Maybe let's try blue. I'm just curious. Yeah, it's pretty hot. That's I sound so wrong by saying that. So I'm just gonna max this out so it's gonna go from like a hot to a blue. That's pretty cool. So I'm gonna go over here and I'm just gonna bring this over to the side. Right now I'm gonna go in outline mode. You see you got two little points right here. I'm gonna go to object, expand everything. Pow, there's all your stuff. So now we get this beautiful shape. It's not bad. I'm gonna copy this thing, gonna go back into Photoshop, and depending on where you want to put it, I'm gonna actually make a, well, it's gonna throw it up there, but whatever. It's gonna put it in this group, which is fine. So I'm gonna paste this guy. You want to paste it as pixels. You can paste it as a path or a shape layer, but you're not gonna see really anything. You'll have to do all the color work again inside Photoshop. If I paste it as pixels, it's going to come in like so. I can scale it up. Actually, this kind of hits right on the button real quickly. The nice thing about doing this after you have your ad kind of figured out is that you can draw these lines and modify stuff, you know, to fit perfectly your ad itself. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to go OK. Once this is done, I'm going to actually put, surprise, surprise, a layer mask on it. And I can go in and make this really big, and I have to kind of like mask a lot of this stuff out because I don't want it to I'm going to use real light opacity. It's overlapping most of this stuff, so I'm just going to kind of go in here and, oh, and by the way, right now I've got my my splatter brush on, and you can apply a mask to anything. So I can go in here and like see it's gonna draw dots all over the place, totally make this thing look really messed up if you wish. I don't want it that way, so I'm gonna go back here to my brush presets and I'm going to get soft round. Go back in here and start kind of just painting away. I mean, I could go in here and make a selection and that kind of stuff, which, what the hell, let's make a selection. So I'm going to go back over here and say I just want to outline this. I just want to have some kind of mask for this face itself, so I'm actually going to go into my magic wand tool and I'm not going to click on the hair. I'm going to click on the black. I'll go to my color range, click on a black area. Yeah, this might be ugly. I'm going to turn that off. So whatever's turned on, it's going to select, just so you know. So I'm going to bring this down. So notice when I bring the fuzziness down, the fuzziness is how much stuff it's going to grab. So usually if you max it out, it's going to keep it maybe right around here. Yeah, that's pretty good. It's kind of actually what I want. We're going to mess with the phone in a second. Turn this guy back on. Inverse the selection. So now I've got some nice control over how this, and I actually want this to kind of overlap around her like so. I'm going to go in here and kind of delete some of this stuff. And this is actually a pretty rough way to do it, but it's going to be overlapping. It's going to go over her foot, that's fine. So it's really just the hair that I was interested in. So now you got something like that going on, and then you can go in here and slowly kind of clean it up after the fact. Actually, I'm just kind of go in here and with a big brush and just kind of kill that out a bit. It wasn't the effect I wanted. Yeah, we don't want any of that either. Goodbye. So you got this nice kind of blendy thing going on here. The phone itself, well, we have an outline of the phone already, so I can go in here, use that as a shape itself. Just kill that back because you do not